YouTubers, it's your girl Shannon from Tesla and Chill, and if you can't tell by the cars behind me, we are at a BMW dealership. We are going to be test driving the i3 today. I'm super excited about this, so come on and let's go check it out. This is the BMW i3 we're looking at today. The dealership I went to only had 4 on hand, but this i3 was the only one on the lot that was fully electric. The other 3 had range extenders, and let's be honest, the whole reason to buy an electric car is so you don't have to be dependent on gas anymore. And the EPA rated it to go 153 miles on a single charge. But this one is the 2020 i3 with the sports package and smokers package, and it comes right in at $53,595. Now, taking a peek at the inside, it has a dark truffle Vernasca leather, and interesting to note, as you may notice by how it looks, BMW is bringing the idea of sustainability full circle, not just by how it's powered, but by the materials used to make it. In fact, the door trim panels and dash, those are made from renewable fibers and eucalyptus wood that came from an FSC certified forest. And the upholsteries in the vehicle, those are made of up to 100% recycled polyester too. Now, real quickly, let's talk about something that's a little bit strange about the car. When you sit in it and you go to close the door, your initial instinct is to reach down and grab the door bin, but that's not actually the handle you pull. It's a little bit higher, as you can see here. Now, something else I didn't really like about the car was the fact that if you wanted to adjust your seat, you had to do it manually. And if I'm spending over $50,000 on a car, I kind of want it to be power adjusters. I think some people forget that even though a car can be electric, it doesn't mean you have to skimp out on luxury. Okay, now listen to this sound. And that sound lets you know that the car is on. I think it's kind of cute, to be honest. Something I'm glad the car has is heated seats, because to me, this is a necessity. This is not a luxury, people. I like to be warm and toasty all the time. I like to have hot buns. Now, something I'm not a fan of is the single temp control. For me, if I'm buying a car, it needs to have a dual climate control. I know it saves on electricity and increases range, but this is a non-negotiable for me. BMW chose to do something a little bit different when it comes to the gear selector because it sticks out like a stalk off the steering wheel. But you can see it's really easy just to flip it from drive to reverse and then just hit that park button. And then there is the more traditional like windshield wiper stalk you see there. And when you turn it on or off, whatever mode you're in, it bumps back into its original position. And then on the left-hand side, you have one more stalk, and that is the blinker stalk. And I like having everything on the steering wheel. Again, it's kind of reminiscent of how Tesla does it, but BMW frees up the console area for other uses. So let's continue to talk about the console area. You can see that there's an adjustable armrest with just the tiniest bit of storage, maybe enough for some spare change in a protein bar. Now, moving down, you'll see a button, and you can use that to put your car in Comfort or Eco Pro mode for driving. And you'll also see another selector that's a little bit larger, and that controls the second screen that's next to the driver's display. And through this screen, you can access additional menus, and I'm really impressed with how the selector is. I think it's super responsive, and there's hardly any lag time as I scroll through the menus. So that was really nice, especially comparing that to like the Jaguar I-Pace we drove. Even the Audi e-tron, there was just the tiniest bit of lag there. So this was actually really impressive from BMW. Now, moving back down to the console area, you'll notice that's where BMW put its USB port and its cigarette lighter. And you might remember that this has the smokers package, so you'll see there is a giant ashtray. And you guys, this is huge. No one should be smoking this much in 2021. If you're driving an electric car, you probably care about the environment, so you should care about your body even more. If you want something smoking hot, put the cigarette down and go work your body out at the gym. Now, as we make our way through the rest of the car, take a look here and you'll see that this car has a carbon fiber frame. Of course, BMW did that for practical purposes because it's such a light material, but it's kind of cool that a car at this price point has carbon fiber, whereas other cars like the Ford GT, the Audi R8, the Corvette Z06, much higher price points for carbon fiber frame. But something I don't like about this vehicle is the fact that there are only 2 doors, so if you're riding in the back, you have to wait for the driver or passenger to open their door, and then you can access the inner latch. And to me, that just doesn't feel good. It feels a little claustrophobic-y, and you might think, well, at least you can roll the back window down, but you can't. The only people that can roll their windows down are the driver and passenger in the front. So I don't like those feelings, but if you don't mind it, this car could be a good fit for you. Now let's take a look at the rest of the back seat here. I feel like it's fairly standard. It has nice leather and 2 cup holders. I'll show you legroom here in just a second. But what I do kind of like is that you get a good view of the moon roofs that is over the driver and passenger, and they're able to be operated separately, which is kind of a cool feature, but I feel like it just really makes it feel more spacious when you're sitting under them. Let's take a look at the legroom here. You can see there's not a lot. I'm 5'4" and I have the passenger seat moderately back because if you're sitting in the back, someone's probably in the front. So it's kind of tight, but it is doable. Let's continue to the back of the car. You'll notice the trunk, it is smaller, but that's because it's more of a compact car. It's not a full-size sedan, but I feel like there's still ample space to put a lot of things back there. Now I was hoping because it was an electric car, it might have a sub-trunk, but it does not. However, it does have these bungee cord things on the side, so that's kind of nice in case you need to like secure anything to the vehicle. Now let's go ahead, let's move to the front of the vehicle so we can see the frunk. And to do so, it's a 2-step process to open. First, you hit the button that's under the steering wheel area, then you move to the front and flip a latch that's under the hood. Kind of like you're popping the hood of an ICE vehicle. But real quickly, take a look at the front there, and you see the traditional kidney-shaped grille. And you guys, because it is an electric car, it does not technically need the grille. I think it's there purely for aesthetic reasons, but it really does look good on the car. It's an iconic BMW look, so I like that it's on there. Now you guys, watch me struggle with this latch. It was super difficult to open, but if you own this car and you do it repeatedly, I'm sure you'll be able to get it in no time, but I was on the struggle bus. But finally, I got the latch, and we can see the inside of the frunk. I feel like it's a decent size compared to the size of the vehicle, but you can see it's just big enough to hold the charging components. But let's go ahead, let's jump to the back so we can see where the chargers plug in. But before we go back real quickly, since we are still at the front of the vehicle, peep those headlights. Those are BMW adaptive LED headlights, and I think that was a really smart move. It just fits the car really nicely. Okay, now let's jump to the back. To access the charge port, simply push down on the door and it'll pop open, and you'll see one charge port for the BMW charger that comes with the vehicle, and the other one is good for when you're at public chargers. Now let's talk a little bit more in detail about charging. On a DC fast charger, this i3 with a range of 153 miles can go from a 0 to 80% charge in 35 minutes. So that would equate to 122 miles. Now in comparison, a Model 3 on the same charger will get 75 miles in 5 minutes and 150 miles in 10 minutes. So definitely something to consider if you're thinking about buying an electric car. And before we get to the test drive, let me just point out real quickly that this color is fluid black, and the BMW i Frozen Blue accent, that costs an extra $550, but I do admit it does look really good on this car. Okay, now let's get to the test drive. So here are a few thoughts I had while driving the vehicle. Even though the acceleration is a little on the slower side, 0 to 60 is in about 7 seconds. It seems like a fantastic vehicle for tooting around town in, and it's a really zippy little car on the highway, and it's the perfect size for parallel parking. And as I mentioned before, where the interior has a lot of recycled material, so does the outside. 25% of the vehicle's exterior is made from recycled plastics. Also, I am loving the turning radius on this car. Check this out. It feels like I could literally turn on a dime. Now again, as nice as this car is, the downfall is of course the limited range and the smaller size. Another con of the i3 is its quick depreciation value, which I feel like is kind of surprising for a BMW. After just a quick search on autotrader.com, I found a 2018 i3 that's only 2 years older than this one for less than half the price of this i3. And it has just over 20,000 miles on it with a range extender. Well, that's all I've got for the BMW i3, you guys. I think it was a super fun little zippy car. Drop me a comment below. Would you buy this car, or would you wait for the i4 that's coming out? Because this one is being discontinued this year. They're making room for the i4, which is gonna be a bigger car, more sedan-like with a hatchback, and it's gonna have a bigger battery pack. So would you take this car now, or would you wait for the next one? Tell me in the comments below. Also, if you've watched up until this point, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps my channel to grow. And as always, tap that like button like you're tapping a booty in the club, consensually. That's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.